After independence in 1947, the new Indian government felt the importance of censorship in films. However, few amendments were made to the Cinematograph Act 1918 in 1949. Two categories of film certification were created: A certificate for restricting viewership to adults and U certificate for an unrestricted exhibition. The 1949 amendment also provision for the setting up of Central Censorship Board instead of a regional one. In 1951, the Central Board of Film Censor was formed by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Subsequently, a consolidated statute, the Cinematograph Act, was enacted in 1952, which empowered the central government authority to constitute a censorship board. In 1949, Film India, a famous popular film magazine, in its February issue, the editor Baburao Patel praised and welcomed the act and said, "We have been asking for this for the last 15 years, and he suggested to centralize film censorship." The first film with A certificate, Haste Hansu, in 1950, the film had top stars of the 50s, Madhubala and Motilal, and directed by K.B. Lal. The film was awarded an A certificate not for indecent scenes or excessive violence, but the film presented a modern age woman who fights for her rights. The film depicted a woman who rebels against the society and battles for women's rights. The censor board felt the subject was very sensitive, hence awarded an A certificate. Let's look at the overview of Cinematograph Act 1952. The Cinematograph Act has 4 parts. Part 1, preliminary. It has 2 sections, Section 1 and Section 2. Part 2, certification of films for public exhibition, and it has 7 sections, Section 3 to Section 9. Part 3, regulation of exhibition by means of cinematographs. It has 8 sections, Section 10 to Section 17. Part 4 is repeal of 1918 Act, which has 1 section, Section number 18. So, what constitutes the board? The central government may, by notification in the official gazette, constitute a board to be called Board of Film Certification, which shall consist of a chairman and other members. The members should not less than 12 and not more than 25 members. Time limit for process of certification. To issue a certificate, it takes totally 68 days. After application submission, it has 7 stages to complete the certification process. The process are: scrutiny of applications, formation of examining committee, forwarding the EC report to the chairman, communication of the order to the applicant, surrender of cuts by the producer, examination of cuts, and issue of certificate. The Central Board of Film Censor was renamed into Central Board of Film Certification on June 1st, 1983. This board implements and follows the provisions under the Cinematograph Act 1952. The chairperson and other members are appointed by the central government. Now let's discuss different category of certification. The certification process is in accordance with the Cinematograph Act 1952. The Cinematograph Rules 1983 and the guidelines issued by the central government under Section 5B. The Cinematograph Act has categorized the certification into 4 types. The categories are: first, U, unrestricted public exhibition; second, U-A, unrestricted public exhibition but with a word of caution that discretion required for children below 12 years; third, A, restricted to adults; fourth, S, restricted to any special class of persons. These films are only for scientists, doctors, and etc. CBFC film certification should be shown for at least 10 seconds before the screening of the film. Information regarding film certificate. So, the certificate should have name of the film, color of the film, language, type of the film, whether it is 2D, 3D, cinemascope, duration of film in minutes and seconds, or length of the reel also is mentioned. Validity of the film certificate, year of certification, location of censor board office and certificate number, list of people who have examined the film before certification, name of the applicant and producer. Certificate has part 1 and part 2. Second part is available only for movies which are recommended for cuts with lists of cuts. Triangle symbol implies cuts are suggested for the film. And the last, regarding film gauge, whether it is 70 mm or 35 mm. Why is film certification necessary? While the media in our country are free, it is considered necessary in the general interest to examine the product when it goes out for public consumption. While there is no certification of published material, need was felt to have certification for films because of the effect that the audiovisual medium can have on the people, which can be far stronger than the influence of the printed word, particularly on the impressionable minds of the children. Film certification is thus the end product of the process of previewing of film, and it includes a decision either not to allow a particular film or public viewing, or to allow it for public viewing with certain deletions and or for modification or at least proper categorization of the film. Furthermore, it is to ensure that the children do not get exposed to psychological damaging matter. The Supreme Court in a judgment in 1989 said that the film certification becomes necessary because a film motivates thought and action and ensure a high degree of attention and retention as compared to the printed words. The combination of act and speech, sight and sound in semi-darkness of the theatre with elimination of all distracting ideas will have a strong impact on the minds of the viewers and can affect emotions. Therefore, it has a much potential for evil as it has for good, and has an equal potential to instill or cultivate violent or good behavior. It cannot be equated with other modes of communication. Certification by prior restraint is therefore not only desirable but also necessary. Film certification in India. The present certification of film is governed by the 1952 Act, the Cinematograph Rules promulgated in 1983, and the guidelines issued there under from time to time, the latest having been issued on December 6, 1991. The guidelines are issued under the Section 5B of the Act, which says that a film shall not be certified for public exhibition if, in the opinion of the authority competent to grant the certificate, the film or any part of it is against the interest of the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of the states, friendly relations with foreign state, public order, decency or morality, or involves defamation or contempt of court, or is likely to incite the commission of any offence. So far, we have seen how the new Indian government dealt with censor, the amendments made to Cinematograph Act 1918, the implementation of Cinematograph Act 1952, and the overview of Cinematograph Act 1952.